Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another EVE Online video. Today, I wanted to, as I'm just out in the belt mining here, today's the day that I do this a couple times a week, check all my PI, Planetary Interaction. And I wanted to record some of this because I think a lot of people are passing up a basically free source of revenue that they can get out of their account with very little effort in Planetary Interaction. Now, a lot of people do it, but it is far more lucrative if you do it in nullsec. And I think a lot of people either do their PI in highsec, where it's safer, or else they do it not maximizing it, not with all three characters on one account. The great thing about PI is you can have it running passively while you're offline on all three characters in your account at the same time, and you can get income from all of those. So this is my main character that I'm on right now, and it's the one that actually has the worst PI. It has the lowest skills for it. The other two characters I have bought one skill injector for, and they can run 5 planets more efficiently than the planets I have here. So bear in mind that you can do this, if you do it just on one account, you can make easily 300 million, or more than that probably, 400 to 500 million per month, even with very suboptimal setups, dedicating maybe 10 minutes to it every 3 days or so. So I'm just going to take a look at the first planet here. It's a lava planet. Different planets have different types of materials you can get out of them, and there's some good resources if you look up online. There's some good resources to tell you how to make the things you want to make. But the first step is, you see I have 2 buildings here. Extractor control units, and after you start the planet, the first thing you have to put down is a command center, and then you can build everything else. That's the only item you have to bring with you when you start PI on a world. The first thing you're going to want to do after that is have extractor control units, and you choose each of these one thing to extract. We can go into the screen here, and you see these scans are kind of choosing what resource it's harvesting. I think this scan is for the wrong material. It's for heavy metals, and this is, oh wait, no, this is extracting heavy metals. Why do I have it over here? That makes no sense. Oh, I don't. These are my extractors here. So yeah, this is going to extract heavy metals. The scan shows you where there's more of them. You can refine how sensitive it is, like this, to get it in the best areas. So I can actually adjust where it is here. This isn't quite optimal. Oh, it actually is. I just have the 3 and they're all down here. This is kind of optimal. But yes, so you can set it says extraction area size. All this means is how wide these circles are. If they overlap, you get reduced efficiency. But then it's really just the amount of time this job will run for. If you set it all the way over here, it's, you can do it, I think, for up to 14 days. Or you can do it for, a single hour. I do it for 3 days. The longer the job is, the less efficient it is. However, if you want maximum efficiency, you'd have to be checking these things every hour on the hour. And no one has time for that. 3 days, I think, is a good balance. So we're going to install this. We're going to do the same thing with the other one. Once you set this up, you don't have to really tweak it at all. You just repeat the same job, so it's 2 clicks. Now that's going to send the resources it harvests over here to the storage facility. And then the storage facility, you see over here, I have basic industry facilities, which take those resources, process them into tier 2 resources. And then I have advanced industry facilities, which take the process resources, the tier 2, and turn them into tier 3. And you need both types of the tier 2 resource to do that, which is why I harvest 2 things on this planet. The output, having run this is very suboptimal, the setup, by the way. I made the PI on this character before I knew what I was doing, and I've been too lazy to change it. But in 3 days, we get 330 consumer electronics. That's a tier 3 PI material, and it's used for a bunch of things. We also left over, we have 800 chiral structures. That's a tier 2 material. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to send it to the launch pad here, the other structure I built, through an expedited transfer, and I'm going to launch it. You pay a small tax on this stuff. You see I already have a set of consumer electronics I put up before. You pay a small tax. In this case, it's 80,000. That's nothing. And that can vary based on what system you're in. Again, the tax is a lot higher if you're in high sec. In null sec here, tax is lower, and also your jobs get you more materials. So you get a much better yield. Now, the chiral structures are going to be hard to sell, but I have another purpose for those that I will show in a second. I am just going to very quickly do the same thing to my other lava world. I refresh these, do an expedited transfer of everything that's in here. Oh, I need to submit this first. Do an expedited transfer of everything in here to the launch pad. You see this one has slightly different output. It actually produces resources faster than it can make the T3 material. So that means I have extra of both chiral structures and toxic metals. I could leave it in there. It will keep making the T3 stuff. But like I say, I have other purposes for it, and since I'm refreshing the job, that backlog will just get bigger and bigger if I don't pay attention to it. The purpose I have for it is over here on my barren world. This is different. You notice there are no extractor control units here at all. I only have processors. This is the one planet I have. I don't have this on any other characters. This functions as the processing facility for all 3 characters. All the extra materials, I send them here. So you see there's chiral structures and toxic metals in my storage facility right now. I've imported those from off-world, and I just have a bunch of facilities here that are going to, they're all making consumer electronics. And I have a lot of power and CPU left on this world. I could make a bunch more of these if I wanted to do that, because I might as well make things go a little bit faster. I select Barren Advanced Industry Facility, put it here, create a link with my storage facility, choose from my schematics. I want to make consumer electronics. For that, I need 40 toxic metals and 40 chiral structures, so I'll install that there and route the product, consumer electronics, back to the storage facility. Then I just need to input the materials, so I'll create a route. Create a route for the chiral structures to the industry facility, and then I will do the same thing with the toxic metals. And then it will automatically send those resources over there. I could make a bunch more if I wanted. For now, I'll leave it at that. But you see the output here, I have 160 consumer electronics. That's not from 3 days of working. I update this one planet a lot more often than that. So we'll send this stuff to the launch pad. And you see just recently, this is from like the last day, I have over 1,000 consumer electronics. So I'll send those up to space to join the other 1,200 I have there. And let's send, oh, I don't have any more toxic metals up here, so I'm going to X out of all this now that I have things in customs offices. How's my mining doing? I almost have a full hold. Stop there. And head back to the station to go get a transport, and I'm going to go pick all of these up. Nice thing, because this isn't in HiSec, an optimized world, which my other characters are pretty close to having optimized worlds, but this character doesn't at all. You get huge amounts of excess resources, and so I contract them all to this character and send them back down. You do pay a tax on it, but it's so low because this is nullsec that you make tons of extra money doing this. So I've had these running for 3 days. And I had a few, I think I had like 300 consumer electronics from outside those 3 days. Oh, it's not here. My transport is not where I remember leaving it. I'm just going to reprocess this stuff I took from rats real quick. And go find my transport. I'm pretty sure I left it in either the nearby Fortizar or the nearby Asbel. I'm gonna try the Fortizar first. I think that's more likely.
Drive active.
Pro tip, don't lose track of which ships are where. It's easier said than done.
Docking request accepted.
You saw all of the messing with planetary interaction stuff took maybe 10 minutes while I was talking through it very slowly. You can do it in 2, really, and you can be mining at the same time. Yeah, here's my transport. Picking the stuff up will take a few more minutes, but again, you don't have to pick it up right away. The customs offices are pretty big. I could run this for a month and then go take all the resources if I wanted. But for the sake of this, I also did, I updated one of the worlds, the Storm Planet, beforehand. Now some of the, like I say, for I think the first lava planet, I already had stuff in the customs office, but it was again just 3 days of production. So I am, this will still be my lowest production character, even including that. Like, we'll total up how much ISK we have worth of stuff. And this will still be the lowest production character even with that. But at the end, we'll look at how much ISK it is and multiply it by 3 for 3 characters on the account, and just estimate from that how much ISK you can make in 3 days doing this on one account.
Warp drive active.
Whoop, no, that's not what I want. I, for some reason, instead of putting them in my inventory, put them back in the launch pad. That's another thing not to do. I am dumb. Okay. Next planet.
Warp drive active.
Bear with me while I check the neutral that's in the system. Okay, they're safe. I'm gonna update my standing with them. Now, which planets you want to do this with really depends on what you want to make. These materials are needed for a lot of things. Some of the most interesting are fuel blocks. But if you're just looking to sell them and not make anything with them, then you're kind of free to do it however you want. Consumer electronics are among the more valuable of the Tier 3 PI resources. So that might be what you want to go for. Actually, I realized this production world, the barren planet, is actually going to have a much higher than average output that the other characters don't have, but it will still be able to make a decent estimate of how much you can make doing this. And warp over here. You see we're already at 20 million ISK estimated value. If you multiply that by 3, it would be 60 million, and that's in 3 days. I think that's actually a fair estimation. I have one more world on the other accounts, and they're all more optimized, but there was the one planet where I ran it for an extra 3 days. So that's actually pretty close. I guess the others would be maybe 25 million instead of 20 million, because they are all with one extra planet. Not going to mess with this just yet. But yeah, if you think that's 75 million every 3 days, do that 10 times a month, that's 750 million ISK for free every month with very little upkeep. Just 10 minutes of work every 3 days. And you don't need heavy skills to get here. One skill injector can train an alt on the same account to what you need to do this. And then, of course, there are the extra resources. So I'm going to grab these consumer electronics. And you see we're at 53 million now. The other characters don't have that boost to it. I'm going to put all my other materials, all my Tech 2 stuff here. The coolant is Tech 3. And Red just entered system, but that's fine because we're done here anyway. I can put those resources down to the planet anytime I need them. So yeah, if you think the price for Plex right now is, or I say a Plex, 500 Plex, one old Plex, I believe it's about 1.5 billion, which is shockingly high. But just doing this, you can make half of that. So if you're willing to do this on your account, the price of that 30-day game time is half off. At lower Plex prices, you can almost, you could almost fund your entire account just doing this. We don't live in that sort of market right now, but there's a chance that we might again one day. And if not, I kind of consider high Plex prices a sign that the game is actually pretty healthy. A lot of people want game time, so that's okay. Anyway, thank you for watching, everyone. If you are not doing PI, get on it, because it's a lot of free ISK. Thanks for watching, and fly safe.